Every year, Hope NYC hosts the largest parade in Queens, New York, largest Christmas parade. You might have heard of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Well, that's the largest one. But we have a Christmas parade that's dedicated to the birth of Jesus Christ, and it's hosted right here on Rockaway Boulevard. And my church, Hope NYC, does this. Most of you who know me know all about the parade, but today I'm going to give you a behind-the-scenes look at the people that make this happen, and also take a minute to explain what these floats mean, because none of them are just play or just fun. All of them have a meaning and a purpose. Hi, my name is Pastor Sharo, and this is the Preacher Girl TV blog. Welcome, and you're going to have such an awesome time today. Thank you for joining us. Share this, click like, subscribe to this channel, and let's go check out these amazing floats. First of all, it is cold in here. My nose is runny, so if you like, you know, there might be snot and stuff happening, but forgive me. Anyway, on to more serious things. This float this year, my float this year is this one right here, and I'm dedicating it to the Hope Publishing Company. Some of you know, those of you who did write your book in 30 days with me a few years ago, well, Hope NYC has a publishing company called Hope Publishing, and this float is sponsored by that company. However, the float doesn't really have to do much with the publishing company. It has more to do with the fact that Christmas is the story of the birth of Jesus Christ. And so if you walk with me, you'll see that right here, this major book right here, the big one, this is the Bible. And the float consists of 4 large books. We have this one here, which is Cadence and Her Superpower book. This is a Bible book. This book was written by Pastor Danielle. This book was written by God. And this book, Happy Shoes, was written by one of our published authors from Hope Publishing Company. The book on the very top there is the Holy Word of God, open to the scripture. And Shania, she is our angel. And Shania gets to wave to all the girls, all the boys. And this year she gets to look down on the Nativity, which is the Christmas story. It is so funny when the kids come back to Hope NYC and they see our characters, our angels and whatever walking around, they're like, oh, and they remember them years and years after that. So that's what Shania, the hole that she comes through on that book is so little. Elias tried to get through that just now. He couldn't get through it, but Shania fits perfectly. Shania, is it cold up there? It is freezing. The higher you go, the colder it gets, and on parade day, it is freezing up there, and she's spinning, but you know what? It's all good. The Lord really has his hand on it. So this is the first float. It's not done yet. There are lights going on and things like that. Let's go check out another one. Right here, we have the second float. This one we call the For God So Loved the World float, and Pastor Jude builds this float. Come on this side. Okay, and I'm gonna find out from him in a second what this float's all about. But this globe in the middle here spins around and around. You can see all the countries of the world on there. It lights up. It's incredible. There are lights on the bottom, but on the 4 corners of this particular float are the Star of David, the Lion of Judah, the Eiffel Tower, and right here there's an American coin that says, "In God We Trust." And those 4 things are on the 4 corners of this float, representing not only the nations of the world in the middle, but all of the things that God has promised and blessed us with. This float is a very special float to us too as Hope NYC, because this float was actually in a parade for another religion, and it was very out of place because it was not a Christian religion, but we felt like the Lord was telling us to go and send this with the scripture written, "For God so loved the world" on it, into that festival, and it was just such an impactful time. But yeah, this is another float in our parade. So this is Pastor Jude, and he does this float. So Jude, tell them you know, why you do this float every year, and why is the parade so important to you?
First of all, the parade is extremely important to me because it's this time that we get outside of our walls and we don't incorporate our block we incorporate our neighborhood, which is incredible. But this float in particular is important to me because I love missions, and this is a missions-minded float. It reminds the world that God loves every single person, regardless of where you came from, what you represent, and what you believe right now. He loves you anyway.
Yeah.
And what's really important about this particular globe right here, I was making this globe on the first year we had this parade, and I didn't get to see it through. So every year that I get to see it through, it's hope for me, and it's hope for my whole family. So this right here, it doesn't get bigger than that.
Thank you, Jude. That's how I measure how far away from her I have to be. So this is probably the most controversial part of our parade. And why I say controversial, it's because these angels so represent carnival costumes that sometimes people are like, wait a minute, you're trying to be carnival. But honestly, when I first decided that there were going to be angels in our parade, what I didn't want was a bunch of people in white dresses with feathers and cardboard wing cutouts. I wanted it to kind of represent when the Bible says that the heavens were filled with the angels singing glory to God in the highest. How do I bring that kind of majesty into our parade? How can the angels be spectacular and not just be, you know, human-sized angels? And this is the best that we could come up with. So every year we have these spectacular angels, and our girls, sometimes guys, will pull these amazing angel costumes down the street. But this year, and the last time we had our parade, Hazel not only refurbished and redid all of these angels, redid all the lights. These things light up the night with our girls in front of them. And I just want to ask her, why is it that because she volunteered to take care of all of these. And I just wanted to ask her to let you know why she did it this year and why the parade is so important.
The parade is important to me because if it's one soul, God has to win, or we have to win for God, for His kingdom. That blesses my heart. The angels, I love doing the angels because while I'm doing it, I pray and I ask God to let somebody see Him through it all.
Yeah, what an awesome thing. I mean, I think that when you see the kids, when they see the angels, it's so crazy. Yes. And when one of these people, girls, guys, whatever, come and hug one of these children in the street or wave. Their eyes light up.
To your eyes, and really bring tears to my eyes because I had the opportunity of carrying one of the angels, and you know, just to give them a wave and to see they do.
Yeah,
that just blesses my heart.
I know. It reminds me of when I was a kid, or when I actually didn't go as a kid, but being older and being at Disney World, yes. Being an adult, and one of the princesses go.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, she's talking to me. Well, imagine that it's the angel that does that to you, and not necessarily a princess. But an angel does that, it's a big, big deal. And so, Hazel, thank you for doing all of this work this year. You're welcome. You love it. Okay, so this here is our joy float, and it looks like a music float, doesn't it? Yes, and it's because that Joy to the World was accompanied by the sound of the angels and the sound of singing, and so this joy, no matter where you are, Christian or not, music is a way that joy is spread, and that's what this float represents. And when we go down the street, the saxophone spins, and the keys have moved, and up and down, there's music coming from it. There are people on there waving, and you can just tell that. And Christmas to me, wherever you are in the world, music identifies your Christmas. So depending on the song, you know where Christmas, you know it's Christmas time and where it's coming from. So this year, Dr. Donna headed up this joy float. I think this is the second year that you did this, and so my question is, why this float? Because you volunteered for this one, and why is the parade so important to you?
Okay, because even though Christmas is extremely special to me, I'm not a fan of winter. And winter can be so cold and so dreary. And one of my favorite things about winter is the lights. And this float and all the colors just brings joy to me. And so it's aptly named the Joy Float because it brings such joy, and it reminds me about why we're doing this and what Christmas is all about.
Yeah, I love that. And so Donna drives a long way to get here, to work here in the warehouse on this joy float. And today we have two preacher girls hiding in the float. Christelle and Fabi are right there. They're over here. I told them they look like Muppets. Christelle, we want to see your whole face. There you go. Fabi, we want to see your whole face. There you go. I want you to know that we always have help. Donna's had much help while she hasn't been able to be here. She's had so many people come in during the weeks to help with this and glittering. I know Fabi did all this glittering and painting by herself. And plus people are glittering and painting everything else right now. And these two are standing behind Fanny. Just dancing. And so this is Joy. It's usually like third or fourth in our parade every single year. Thank you, Donna, for helping us with the parade this year. Let's go. This float is our rainbow float, and it says in the front of it, God's eternal promise. You don't have to wonder why this one is important, do you? Because the rainbow has been overtaken by all kinds of groups of people and turned into something that God never intended it to be. The rainbow was just a promise and only a promise from God to his people. And even if we as humankind make it the symbol of every other thing on this planet, it's God's eternal promise. Usually on this rainbow, we have children sitting in their seats. The whole thing is like a Ferris wheel with seats on them. And we get kids of every nationality, of every color. We've even had Muslim children and Hindu children and Christian children all sitting on the rainbow. You know what it represents? That God's promise is that all of us have an opportunity for salvation in Jesus Christ. And this was done by Tawana and Pastor Godzilla this year, and with help from others, of course. It's a huge rainbow with clouds everywhere. Right there, you can see 2 feet at the bottom of the rainbow. That is not the pot of gold and the leprechaun. That's actually Minister, Youth Pastor Dwayne Faya underneath. Dwayne, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm doing good. Yep, those feet belong to Dwayne, and he's underneath the float wiring. He's doing electrical work under there right now, and isn't that a blessing? That's the coolest thing ever. That sometimes you don't know where they are, but they're there doing the work of God. Right next to it is this amazing, blow your mind manger. Ah! Look at what it says. It says, Jesus. Woo! And it has a crown because he's a king. Come here, Kaylee. Kaylee, I see you. Come. Okay. All right, and this is Kaylee.
Hi.
Another PG, you know her. She's guested on the show before, the chef. Yes. Kay's Cuisine is gonna be here this weekend, but Kaylee was in charge of the manger float this year, and it looks amazing, and I love it. And of course, she's had help from Travis. Where you at? You guys know Travis, right? Yeah. This is Freeman. This is the one who makes all those amazing jeans that I wear all the time. That's right. But Kaylee is the boss of this float this year, and to me, it is the most incredible of floats because it says the most important and incredible of things, and it tells a Christmas story. But Kay, why did you pick this one, and why is the parade so important to you every year?
I picked this one because I like the details of it. I like the glitter, and
Me too.
I love the glitter, but I really like the fact that the word Jesus stands out because he is the reason of the season, you know. And the parade is important to me because of the joy. It really brings joy to this community, especially living here, and it brings joy to the kids that are being raised up here. It gives them hope in a dark place, so that's why
I love that. And Kaylee also is teaching our dancers this year. She's our dance teacher here, but she's teaching them. They are so cute. Right, and so they're gonna walk the whole route. Tell us a little bit about what that's like. If we've never walked it, dancing, we're exhausted just walking.
Yeah.
But tell us what it's like to dance the entire parade.
Well, I mean, it really takes a lot of breathing, making sure that your breathing is controlled. So one of the things that we did, so we have our studio, and we're blessed to have it this year. So we practiced in the studio, but then after we had all the moves, We then took it outside, which is freezing cold now, but it prepares them because you never know what type of weather it's gonna be. It might snow, it might rain, it might hail, you never know. So it's really to make sure that they have their breathing controlled, and a lot of smiling, a lot of crowd interactions, and the most important part is just to have fun. So that's exactly it.
So she's amazing, and the girls look fantastic, and so does this float. And this is, I'm telling you, every time that comes down the street, if nothing else gives you chills, this one does. So thank you, Kate, for being in the parade this year, as usual. So some of our floats are just pure fun, right? The Gingerbread House has one purpose, and that's to make kids go ooh and ah and smile. And I wanted a 3-story gingerbread house, not a 1-story gingerbread house. I wanted the one that Hansel and Gretel would go in, you know the story. Hold on one second. So this year and the last time, Reagan, this is Reagan. Say hi, Reagan.
Hi.
So Reagan, you might know him if you know about Compass Cafe. He is the manager of our Compass Cafe New York branch. And Reagan also is in the AV department of Hope NYC and in charge of this float. Woo! So tell us, why did you choose the gingerbread house?
So I always wanted to build a gingerbread house growing up, and I never got the opportunity. But the Lord made it possible for me to make a giant-sized gingerbread house.
I love that he said that, because you know why? I was telling somebody the other day, I've seen all these things before in my head or in smaller versions. And a few weeks ago, I did a podcast and I told you, I know how the Lord wired me. I love very little things and I love giant things too. And so hearing him say he always wanted to build a gingerbread house, but the Lord caused him to build a giant one.
Insane.
Makes perfect sense to me, because that's what God does. He takes your dreams, he takes your desires, and he magnifies it and blows it up. So he gets to bring joy. I mean, what do the kids like the most? I'm telling you, the light doesn't do it justice. At nighttime, when this is lit up and all the candy is shining, it is crazy. So Reagan, thank you for doing this.
Oh, snap,
You just said it. You just keep it in the parade. I told him one day he's gonna just talk like that and he won't be able to stop himself. My friends the Alexis's do this float. This is the second time they've done it. This is a toy float. It's not lit up right now, but as you can well imagine, the kids adore this float. There is a Rubik's Cube, there's a Chutes and Ladders, there's a Monopoly, Sorry, Life Game, Scrabble, just giant sized on this float. When this thing lights up at night, the kids salivate over it, because which kid doesn't like toys? But even more importantly, which adult doesn't feel like a kid at Christmas time? And if adults don't, seeing this come down the street always put an extra spark of joy in everybody's heart. So I love it. Just turn around right there, you'll see Miss Lois, and she is putting the words on my book right now. Wave Loisy. So putting a float together is a lot of work. It's not just an idea and it's not just a bit of styrofoam. These trailers are built from the ground up. Pastor Kurt has built most of these trailers with help from some of the men of the church. Then afterwards we need concept, and that's a whole design. It's a long process. After concept, we need materials lists, and then we need electricians, we need engineers, we need mechanics, because many of these things weigh a ton and they spin or they have movement on them. And then we need, in some cases, structural people to do the building for us, and then we come in, lay styrofoam on it. We need painters, we have people that glitter. We have people like Lois who do the artistic touches at the end with the books, with the lettering, with things like that. Just a lot of stuff that goes on in the making of these floats. One of our people that does a lot of carving of styrofoam is June, and she's not here yet. She's gonna be here later today, but she's been here every day. Look, you can see some proof right now, head to toe covered in styrofoam, because she's good with a hot knife. And so if you have a talent like that, chances are you are gonna be used to do something fantastic at the parade, something like this train right here. So this is our Hope NYC train. It's such a big deal. The kids love it. I wish you could see it with the lights on. Hopefully we get to show you that before, but Brent just finished his train and covered it up. And we uncovered his train. It is so shiny and brand spanking new, and he pretty much handcrafted this from the ground up. Inside there's a four-wheeler. The train it pulls 6 or 8 cabooses where kids ride in this. Yeah, so the kids ride in this all day long, back and forth, and sometimes big kids, 2 big kids many big kids ride in it as well. But it's always such a big hit, and we love it because sometimes we use it to transport stuff down the parade route. But what's Christmas without a Polar Express? This year we have a new addition to our parade. Every year we try to do a couple ones that are brand new, was never seen before. This year was a complete redo of the Hope Publishing Company parade, but we've done it before. This particular float we've never done before, and I'm gonna tell you why. This float is called It's Almost Midnight. And It's Almost Midnight is exactly what the Lord's been saying to us. For those of you who know the Bible story about the bridegroom that comes at almost midnight, I believe that Jesus is coming back. And the concept for this float is about that. This is the float also that our performers will be singing on. Dwayne Fire is going to be singing on this. But this is Brian. Brian, tell us a little bit, what is this big round thing and what's happening on this float?
The big round thing is supposed to be a clock, and the time set on it, it's supposed to be very close to midnight.
Okay, is that gonna lay like that, or how?
No, it's gonna be mounted in the center on the top. Okay. And then Dwayne will be performing on the 2 sections of the stage.
Okay, so there are 2 stages, and then the clock is mounted high up, and then there are some arches that will go around it. We'll be sure to send you a picture once it's mounted and once it's all done. One more thing, why is this parade so important to you? Why do you do it every year?
It's important. The parade is important to me because it reaches people that we wouldn't normally reach. It allows us to bridge the gap between this side of the Van Wyck and the other side, and it brings people together. And it really, it's a wonderful way to show the message of Jesus to those people who wouldn't be normally reached.
Yeah, and he's right. People who wouldn't come to church will stand outside their houses, look through their windows, and see the parade. So It's Almost Midnight. It's not just a commentary on the coming of Jesus Christ and how late an hour it is, but it's also a Christmas theme because, you know, kids believe Santa comes right around midnight. So those who don't understand the biblical precept will get the Christmas idea. Way down in the back over there is one of my also favorite floats. That's the Compass float. I know you can see the macarons on the big coffee cup. Well, that represents, of course, Compass Cafe, our missions-based coffee shops that we have right here in New York and in Trinidad. 100% of all the proceeds from Compass go back into missions to provide clean water for children in underprivileged countries, and also to rescue people from human trafficking. If you don't know the story of Compass, we will put a link in the bio of this, or in the description of this video, so that you can find out more about the most amazing coffee shop on planet Earth. I know it's a thing now, everybody's doing charity coffee shops. Well, Compass was here 7 years ago when nobody was doing that yet, so I'm proud of it, and I would sure love you to be a part of that ministry. Right here, if you look, we have candles being poured, hand-poured candles. Yep, that's what they are, hand-poured, and they are from the Blacksmith and Shepherd booth at the Hope Christmas Village. These are hand-poured by Fanny, and they are amazing. They're amazing. You're gonna love them. But let's go see what's happening in the fellowship hall. So right here, even though it sounds like they're just standing around doing nothing, all these preachers, no, they're certainly very busy, especially Fabiola and Christelle, who are shining the balls right now. That didn't sound right. You guys know PG, Cheryl, and look, Tawana, the fashionista, she's right here. Look. Oh, what are you doing, Miss Hope? Friends, that's generally what happens around here. People goof off a lot, but they also have a lot of fun. These are some of the decorations that go outside in the yard. Over there, we have a bunch of Christmas ornaments, larger than life size. And these are, I think, sprayed by Michelle. And over here, we have headpieces, costumes, all our marshals, because every float has to have 6 marshals, plus people on the floats. And these are in New York, there are a lot of regulations. Can you imagine the kind of logistics and red tape that goes into putting on a parade like this? We have a list of stipulations from the police department, from motor vehicles department, from city council department, to try to even get this parade. Sometimes it's a daunting task, but you know what? God always makes a way. So these are all costumes for all of those marshals. Over here we have some of our friends painting a big toy box because on Saturday at the Christmas Village, all of the kids get a free toy this year. Isn't that amazing? I love it. Down here, the Christmas Village at Hope NYC is a ridiculous experience. It is so big. It's not just a parade. It starts on Friday night with our Christmas Village. From the minute you walk in the gates, we want you to feel Christmas. And so the gates are going to be decorated with huge icicles and all kinds of things like that. But then when you get into the gate, you're going to walk through this arch right here, which would be all lit up. It's covered in Christmas fur, but it's going to be all lit up. And this lady running right here, this is PG Takesha, you know her, and she is not only responsible for all of the beautiful decorations that are in my church upstairs, but she is doing this archway. She did one of this for the women's conference. Her husband Marlon is there, and a few other friends are there, and they work in the cold out here, and they're just the first of people that have been working outside all season to get this parade ready. Over there in the corner is the angel that begins our entire parade. And here's some video footage of her. She is huge. And this is the back of the angel. So coming off the top of the angel there's a girl. It's usually Fanny. So she's gonna turn the camera around right now. I can't. She said, I can't, and show you her face. But here's a picture of what it looks like when Fanny is on that angel. She leads the entire parade. And in my mind, it was my thought behind that whole decision was the fact that the angel Gabriel brings the announcement. The angel Gabriel shows up at the manger. The angel Gabriel was so present in the whole. I just can imagine the joy in the angel that got to announce to the world and to Mary that Jesus was coming, that Messiah was finally here. And so this particular angel leading the pack is exactly what I was thinking about. Do you know, here's some fancy trivia for you, that under this angel there's a car? Yep, there's a Honda underneath this angel, and there's a driver that sits under the skirt of the angel and drives this angel down. So you don't see a truck pulling this float moves itself. I'm not as rich as Disney, and I don't have the resources to do the little inside machinery to move our floats around with nothing pulling them. But this is the closest that we can get to have something move this without being seen. And so she's always spectacular. The kids go crazy over her. They want to know how she's moving, and then once they notice it's a car, someone's like, oh, I see a car. It's funny. We like it. Now if you look to the side, you'll see all of these amazing little huts, and in our Christmas Village these huts are lit up. They're so beautiful, and each one of these will house a store, a product, a food booth. It's just the most buzzing, amazing Christmas Village you've ever seen. And the whole yard is lined with these little huts and booths that have great things for the whole family. But right here are the troopers you've ever met in your life. Yeah. So Miss Toya is in charge of this particular display. It's two sections, this one and that one, and it's Candyland. Come here. Explain to them what's happening, because honestly I don't even know. She has the vision and I trust her vision, so I just wait like a kid to see what happens when it's all done.
This is supposed to be a cotton candy tree. It's gonna have a little tree house, beautiful trunk, and there's going to be large cotton candy sitting on either side of it.
I mean, you want to leave where you are right now and come to this place, don't you? That's how I feel. And what else is happening on the floor?
So the floor is going to be a scene where you can sit and take a picture. So it's going to have on either edges.
You can sit under the cotton candy tree.
Yes.
Have you ever?
You can actually hold on to the ladder that's hanging from the cotton candy tree.
Have you ever sat
beautiful.
under a cotton candy tree? I bet not. Well, it's happening right here. And how cold has it been out here for you?
Last night was like 36.
Oh my gosh.
It was cool.
So why do you do this?
Oh, I love my Hope family. I love what we do here. Guys, Hope is the best.
And I love that. I love it because they don't do this for accolades or for pay or for anything. They do it because they love people and they love Jesus.
Yes.
End of story.
Yes, and people and Jesus are here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Renee. And if you're ever in a bad mood, just talk to Renee.
Yeah, absolutely.
The girl has got a laugh and a smile all the time. It's probably why she has the cutest, most amazing kids ever.
They're okay.
No, they're amazing.
They're the best.
I teach them in school. You see, I was hoping she would laugh. And this guy here is responsible for all of the electrical. He wired this entire property for us. He's the reason why we'll be able to see anything happening here at the Hope NYC Village. Thank you for doing all the work. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Love him. This is the Hope Ship. This ship here, they're not actually fighting. We got it all on video. So this ship here, it's not done yet. You see we put painter's tape on it. It's being sealed and it's being redone right now, repainted. But this year, Santa comes on our ship. The ship represents our toy drive every year at Hope NYC. We send 10.
Did you say that last part?
The ship represents our toy drive every year at Hope NYC. We send 10,000 toys all over the world to kids that will never see us, never know us, but our church raises the funds every year. This year, Hope NYC gave over $50,000 just for toys. And this ship represents that Santa this year is gonna come to the Christmas Village in the Hope Ship, but also we have tiny sailors, pirates and captains represented by the kids on our children's church and our Ark Academy that will be riding the ship. This little section here is what you like to call center stage. This is where every kid will come to collect their toy that Saturday, and this stage is a little bit elevated to be able to, so that you'll be able to see from wherever you are on the property. And this is Brother Brian. And he was in charge of this project. Today we have Brother Orville here. We have some friends also who are helping. These men have been outside in the cold doing this work, and I'm so grateful and so thankful to God for them. You can go. You can go. And the beautiful backdrop you see back there was painted by Miss Nadia Hippolyte. And she did such a fantastic job. It's not done. There'll be curtains. When they're done with this, you won't even be able to recognize it. You're seeing it in a raw form. I'll tell you the truth. The skeleton of the village and the parade happens for weeks before the parade. But on that week of the parade, it's when all of the small things that make the biggest difference happens. It's the painting, it's the glitter, it's the ceiling, it's the skirts on everything, it's the lighting, and it's the stuff that make people go, wow. What they don't see is months and months of preparation and work that goes into these things before they ever hit the street or before the first person ever comes in. And it's such a big deal, but it's such a happy deal too. When people love what they do, oh, it's so amazing. You guys know my tree, right? If you saw the video, you saw that tree, and she is a beautiful, look, she goes all the way down to the ground, all the way to the floor. I love her. She's such a fat, beautiful tree. Wow. It's like amazing, amazing. Like you just want to hug this tree like this. She's such a huggable tree. Girl. Yes. Is our resident artist. She's the one who painted an amazing backdrop. And now, all by herself, she's down in here painting this. What is this?
It's for like a toy display.
It's a toy display. It's like a whack-a-mole, but it's whack-a-toy. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? The kids are gonna go crazy for this. And if you look down in there, you probably can't see it very well because it's not lit. But there are two major floats down in here, two of our most important floats at the Hope NYC parade. The first one is our service float. It says I Love New York. This float has a shield for every branch of the armed forces in the United States of America. So the Navy and the Army and the Marines and the Air Force and the Police Department, and this year Corrections is also going to be included, as well as the Fire Department are all represented on that with a shield, because we appreciate all of the military and all of the branches of the armed forces that support the United States of America. We do. And behind that one is our Hope Float. It's a giant 15-foot HOPE, which you can't see right now. When it's all lit up, it is gorgeous, it is impactful, and it is beautiful. And it is the point of this whole parade that Jesus is the hope of the world. We are with Pastor Kurt, the man himself, who is working on something here. He's going to tell us what he's working on right now. What are you working on right now?
So I'm trying to finish up 3 bathrooms. We're trying to do 2 outdoor public use bathrooms, and then we have 1 bathroom for the dance studio.
So this is the first time we won't have to rent porta potties if these bathrooms get finished outside. And when we say outside, they're on the porch, but they're not in the actual sanctuary space. So we're excited to get those outdoor bathrooms so that we don't have to pay the money to rent the extra ones. So are you going to get done?
I am definitely going to get done.
All right, and tell us what the parade means to you and why you're so excited to do it every year.
It's an opportunity to be unconventional. I think too oftentimes, especially with our history of being in church, it's been conventional things up to a certain point, but our whole existence has been doing things unconventional. And I just kind of follow her lead. If she says I'm crazy, I might be a little bit apprehensive at first. I mean, the first year was a little bit difficult to understand, but every year since then it's such a joy just to see the smiles on people's face and just to see their eyes when they look at what it is that what God is able to do with people who are willing to do it, and to see their eyes just open big when the lights come down the road. That is what it's all worth, all the hard work for.
Thank you very much for your hard work in the parade. You're awesome. Carl's been with us for every single parade.
Yes, I have. And I'm enjoying it.
I'm so glad. So Carl, this year you bit off more than you can chew, right?
It seems I have, but you know what? With the faith that we have in God, it will get done.
Yes. No, Carl this year not only did the service float and volunteered to do the train, and Brent took the train, but he's doing a million other things, including weatherproofing all of these houses, and also has a jerk chicken booth. Yeah.
Yes.
So Carl, why is the parade important to you?
The parade is important to me, and I've, as you said, been here for every one of them because of the smile that it just put on these young kids' face, and even adults, their faces light up. And to see the things that we can do, it's just amazing, and it's all through God. You know, sometimes you wonder if it's going to get done, but at the end of the day, it all gets done. It comes together beautifully, and that's why I do the parade, because of the joy that it brings to all, not just children, but to all.
Yep, that's a good reason. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have this?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Welcome. So I know we missed something somewhere. And there were so many people who are here, and I just don't know where they are. I just want you to meet one more person, and you know Ruthie, but I'm gonna try to find her wherever she is. I expected her to just come running up behind me because that's usually how she is. I'm gonna find her because when they have issues and they have problems, they go find her. When somebody has to buy all of this stuff, and when Home Depot delivered our order, it was delivered on a huge truck with ply that goes up to here, and 2x4s, and come here. You see, I didn't even plan that. I just said I was gonna find you, and I looked around because I was like, usually when I say that, she pops up.
How funny is that? What is this? What be to happen?
What be to happen?
What be to happen?
So yeah, I was just telling them, this is the Preacher Girl podcast, and this week it's gonna be about the parade. And I was just telling them that anybody who has a question, or anybody who has to buy anything, and when we have a huge order, you're the one who does it. Not only that, from permits to dealing with police on that day, to making sure our floats get to go down the road, from planning the route, from organizing the teams, from everything happens right here in this tiny little head right here. So Ruthie, why do you work so hard for this parade? Why is this so important to you?
I love Christmas. No, I love, yes, about Christmas, but I really, really believe in the joy that the parade brings. The hope of the holiday seasons, and I know our community needs it. And I believe that it's something that hopers and this community can be proud of, really and truly. When you see their faces on that day, that makes all the hours and all the time worth it, because you see smiles that are worth millions and more. You can't put a value on that. That's really why.
And you might think that we went around telling everybody what to say, but we didn't. It's really why they do what they do. So Preacher Girls, I just want to tell you, this is the biggest thing that we do all year, and it's such a big deal to me that I hope and pray that if not this year, one year, you can be a part of the parade on Rockaway. I love you so much. Remember to subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you. Love you. Bye.